Well, Bobby, good to see you here, Autosport International. Look at that, there's people coming up and saying hello.
Big fans.
No, big fans, you say. Good to hear, good to see you. Happy New Year to you, first of all.
Happy New Year. This show, it always tests me. I think due to I come in different shapes and sizes every time I turn up, I think.
Which Bobby Thompson are we getting this year?
Yeah, no, this one I'm a lot fitter than I was last year, I think. A lot more, well, as hungry as ever. Always hungry when we come here. Never seem to have a deal signed and done before I get here. It's always just after or a week before the start of the season, which is quite annoying.
Obviously, that was my main question, because you had the disappointment last year, well documented, and I know there's things still going on with that. But hey, what an impression you made when you came back into that BMW.
Yeah, what could have been? You know, on the drive up here, we were saying, what could have been? We would have rocked up to this show, probably the car on a stand somewhere, all liveried up for the 25 season. It's just a shame, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, I still don't think I've got over that, personally.
That must have been tough.
Yeah, I mean, it's quite pathetic, really, but then it's all because there's real problems in the world. But then also, on another point, I've dreamed of racing the WSR and the BTCC since I was about 10 years old, 8 years old. So for it to get taken from me from about 10 o'clock on Monday morning after the race, after having such a strong first weekend, yeah, quite a lot. But yeah, I mean, you pick yourself up, didn't you? Like any sport, any line of work, any business, you just got to get straight back onto it.
You make a good point about the business. Lots of talk here at the show this year about money and budgets. And I know that you have a very successful day job, don't you? Driver coaching and all the rest of those bits. So you have to take time out for that to not go and earn any money racing. I mean, it must be an interesting balancing act. Yeah,
it is. I mean, what I hope to always do is if I'm not racing, then I'm doing the best I can coaching. And that's that I can control. It's something that's a little bit more personal. You're not going to a big company's marketing team to try and pitch them to do some sponsorship or getting involved in BTCC one way or the other. The coaching side, it's a man-to-man or a person-to-person thing where you can be a bit more personal. People approach myself to coach them over here and in the States, and I find it a more, what's the word? I suppose I have more control on it, and I can. My idea for the little business I've got, can grow and grow and grow. Whereas touring car, I feel like not touring car itself, but sponsorship within motorsport. Sometimes I feel like I'm banging my head against the wall, because touring car is such a good platform. We've got such a fantastic show, circus that we put on 10 times a year. No matter if it's me, Tingram, Ash, bloody any driver and up and down the grid. We'll do a fantastic job in and outside the car. So yeah, it's just it's a shame that it's so difficult now to get money in. You almost just want to get these companies, the people you're trying to get over the line, to come to one weekend, give them the bells and whistles, the whole hospitality, anything they want, just to show them what we can do. And then I think it'd be a much different story.
It's an interesting context, Bobby, isn't it? Because the fans pay their money, they work hard, they pay their money, they come to the circuits to watch, and they have a good day out. They're entertained by people who they think are already quite wealthy because you're going racing. And in point of fact, at the end of the day, you've still got to earn enough money to pay for the gigs that you want to go to, for the butcher, the baker and the candlestick maker. I mean, it's an interesting one that sometimes gets forgotten.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, for me at the moment, the first objective is to get on the grid. That obviously, working in motorsport as well, coaching, that obviously takes time away from the coaching. That means a lot of my customers, I can only be one place at a time. That means I can't do a lot of rounds for a lot of people, so that I have to earn a wage out of the BTCC. And as a lot of the drivers already do, it's not it's a very normal thing. A lot of drivers already do that. Now, here's a toss-up. I mean, I'm going to ask you a question. If you were to drive in the touring car but earn no money, but then not be able to earn money elsewhere, it's a difficult thing to think about, isn't it?
Ooh,
and then you sit and think, what am I worrying about? I'm so privileged to even drive a touring car, let alone earn some money. So it's such a difficult concept.
It's funny, that human nature bit though, isn't it? Because working on that principle, earn no money but win a race, climb out of the car, climb onto the bonnet with all that adoration and adulation and TV coverage, and you're the man of the moment. That buzz is addictive.
Oh, I'd pay for that moment out of my own money and take no money any day of the week for that. Yeah, that's what I mean. But I suppose you get to a point where you're having babies and children and the rest of it, and you've got other things in the normal big world that you have to think about. And then you have to start making real adult decisions, and it gets difficult, and it could be a lot easier if and I think we spoke about this before, if on the grid you race the best race to be there, not the wealthiest. Jesus, you could have that conversation with every person in this hall now.
Absolutely.
But I wish that it was the best of the best on that grid, and I'd rather not be there because I wasn't good enough, rather than I can't afford it. And I think I deserve a place on that grid amongst some of the best.
I think thousands of fans would agree with you on that one as well. And just on a personal side, you mentioned family. Congratulations, you're going to become a father in not too far. April time, did you say?
Bang on the start of the season. Yeah, it's going to be fantastic.
That's going to be an interesting one to deal with.
Where's the first round? Donington Park.
Donington Park.
Yeah. I'm going to have a baby born at the Donington Park at the Loop at the hairpin. I haven't told the missus yet.
No. Would Donington be in the consideration for the name if it was born around that time? That'd be quite an interesting one. The Beckham set a standard, didn't they, with Brooklyn?
That's pretty cool. I like that.
So, look, I'm going to cross my fingers, Bobby, with lots of other people, and you've got your fingers and toes crossed that you're going to be able to get a deal across the line by the start of the season. Let's hope and assume that will be in place. Good luck with that. Changes this season are interesting. We've got the sustainable fuel, push to pass coming, the hybrid gone. It's going to shake the racing up again, which is, of course, what Alan Gower and Toker always want.
Yeah, I mean, it's another thing to learn. I'm sure it's going to be a little different to what we all think. It's very difficult, isn't it, to predict something we haven't driven yet. It's a shame. I know hybrid split opinions up and down the grid. I really liked it. I think we got to a point. I know I only done one round in 24, but I think we really got to a point where I could actually use it. I really liked it in terms of in Saturday in testing. It was just a button that allowed the car to accelerate a little bit more freely. I wouldn't say it was a fast and furious push ahead in the back of the seat boost button. But one thing it really did bring is where before the first couple of seasons of hybrid was a button that you all press and you all pressed it at the same time. So no one really, because the tracks are not the biggest in the UK, we're all using that 15 odd seconds or whatever it was at the same point. Whereas in the 24 season, it really allowed you to use that as an overlap. And you didn't mind wasting a whole lap of hybrid, even if it was coming out of a last corner, say you come out of Snetterton, the last turn, to get a drive up the hill to get that overlap. If it meant getting a position, you used it, which was what it was all about for me. So it's a shame that we are getting rid of it. I'll be interested to see what this new system and how we're running it now.
It's interesting because talking to various people, some said, no, I didn't mind the 60, 70 kilos of weight because my car felt a bit more planted, which was good. But then you say, take that weight out and you reduce the amount of stress on on the tyre that's taking all of that punishment. So swings and roundabouts.
Yeah. I think front wheel drive. It's a great thing. I think rear wheel drive. I don't know. For them, trying to not say too much, I suppose. I think
be diplomatic, but
yeah. I think for front wheel drive, it's great to have it out. I think everyone's happy to get rid of weight. Listen, a lighter race car's better, isn't it? But in terms of that battle between front wheel drive and rear wheel drive, I think rear wheel drive would like to see front wheel drive heavier and heavier and heavier.
Always. I mean, I always have conversations with Dick Bennett from WSI. Yeah. I said, Dick, what's the ideal future? He said, everybody rear wheel drive. End of story. There's nowhere else to go. That's it. He shuts the argument down there.
Yeah. I think you'd see. I think that would change the way the racing is. I really do. It's I love that there's a front wheel drive, rear wheel drive thing. It's very different to any series in the world, really, isn't it? and you can really see that difference in track conditions, weather, temperature.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's a fun.
We talked about money. It's unavoidable, isn't it? At this show, everybody's talking about it. I had a conversation half an hour ago about thinking back to the super touring days, when there was even more noughts on the end of budgets, and the championship has come a long way since then, and it really does earn its place as the leading tin top championship, leading motorsport championship in the UK, doesn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, funny enough, on the drive up here, we was talking about what would there be without it, and look, sport always finds a way. How many times have we said that? The sport hates change, doesn't it? We all walk around the show moaning that things are changing, but it's definitely solidified itself in the British motorsport world, isn't it? And I'm interested to see where the next 20 years takes the championship. Not only the cars and the bit that we get to touch, feel, drive and watch. Outside the championship, commercially, be interested to see where it goes, what Gal has in mind for it. He's always a couple of steps ahead from us boys, so I'm sure he has a good plan ahead.
It's always been evolution rather than revolution, hasn't it? And again, talking to somebody else, not mentioning any names, but they said maybe it's time for a revolution. Maybe there needs to be a big change rather than just an incremental change. And like you say, there'll be resistance to that up and down the paddock, won't there?
Yeah, it's like most things, isn't it? We all want more, want something better, want the championship to be able to create more money commercially, but then ideas-wise, well, I don't have the ideas. I don't know when he's changing, but there's a lot of smarter people than me that can make those ideas work.
Absolutely. Bobby, I'm going to keep my fingers crossed for you, as I say, along with thousands of others of your fans, that you're going to be on the grid this year, but really good to catch up with you.
Thank you very much.